Hello everyone, my name is Yixuan Yang. Today my colleague Xinrong and I will introduce you to the topic of Facebook Graph API. Our agenda is as follows. In the first part, we will make a brief introduction about the Facebook API, which is also called Graph API. For using this kind of API, Facebook has provided an official tool, which is named the Graph API Explorer. We will explain how to use it in the second part. And in our last part, we will show you some cases which are about how to use Python to access users' data from Facebook. Okay, now let's go to the first part, the overview of Facebook Graph API. The name of Graph API comes from the concept of the social graph. The social graph is a graph that represents the relationships between entities. It models the data in terms of the nodes and edges, which are objects and relationships. We will make an accurate explanation in the next page. Using Graph API is the primary way for applications to read and write to the Facebook social graph. This API is a HTTP-based API, which means it uses Hypertext Transfer Protocol as a communication protocol. And in order to get the data, you need to create an application as well. Applications can use this API to send a request from the client and get the information stored on the server. So we can use it to create the data, post new stories, manage ads, and finish other tasks. Okay, now we can see the structure of Facebook Graph API. Its structure is composed of three terms, which are nodes, edges, and fields. A node is an individual unique object, such as a user, a photo. In this figure, we can see that Bill, Jenna, Talking Heads, and other entity, they are all the nodes. Edges represent the connections between two nodes, such as the relationship between comments and a photo, like the likes between Bill and Talking Heads, it's an edge. And the fields are the properties of nodes, like the properties of Talking Heads are origin, genres, years, and labels. Okay, here's the whole structure of Facebook Graph API. However, Facebook Graph API have different forms for different fields of data. For example, Marketing API enables businesses to better advertise on Facebook by automating ad management and creation. And the WhatsApp Business API is designed to enable medium and large businesses to communicate with their customers and scale. The companies can use this API to connect thousands of agents and bots to customers via WhatsApp programmatically and manually. Besides, you can also use live video API, Instagram APIs, and other forms of APIs to get the corresponding data. The selection of the type is depending on what you want to do. But for using all of them or one of them, you need to use a tool which mentioned before and which is Graph API Explorer. For using this tool, you need to create a developer account. If you have a Facebook account, you just need to make a brief application. And we have pasted the link here, but I just recommend you to Google it, to Google the Facebook developer account. It will be more efficient and faster. When you have a developer account, you can go to your homepage and see that there are no apps yet. So you can just click the green button and it will notice you to select an app type. And the type of the application determines which products and APIs are available to your app. For instance, business app can manage business assets like pages and events. Consumer applications is used for connecting consumer products and permissions. If you just want to explore the process of using Facebook API, you can just choose none. And then the last step is to set your app name and email. You can write them here. And after that, we have finished the whole process of the creation of the application. Then you can see here, we have an application which is named test1. and its type is business. Then we want to open the Graph API Explorer to use this application. You can just hover over the tools and choose Graph API Explorer from the list that appears. Okay, now I will use the magic spell, which is called hyperlink, to open it. Okay, now here's the interface of the Graph API Explorer. On the right side, you can find two drop-down menus concerning application and token. In the application drop-down menu, you can choose the application that you want to test, and I choose the test one. And in the token drop-down menu, you can get and exchange different tokens, which are user access token, app token, or page access token. And I choose the first one. And now you can see a notification and you need to permit it. Okay, now you can see that there's one permission which is given by default. If you want to get the corresponding data, you need to add the corresponding permissions. But for different types of applications, the permissions are different. Because I have chosen the business type, so the permissions will be user data permissions, events group page, and other. And if you click it, and you can see that the email, user messenger contact. If you want to get the information of the email, you can just click it and then choose generate access token. And then choose continue. Okay, it seems like nothing happens, but you can see that our query appears here. And if you add the email, okay, and then click the submit. Okay, now you can find the information that you want to obtain, the ID, name, and the email. And also, if you want to modify your query, you can just use this plus signal. Like if I want to search for the first name, I can add it here and then submit. Now you can also see the first name here, Yixuan. Okay. Besides, you can also click this information icon to check the relative information of your test. You can find the name of your application and the user and the expiration time of your token. Okay, that will be the basic introduction of this Explorer. For further uses and further details, we will discuss it in the next part. My partner will take over it.
Thanks for Yixuan's introduction. Now let's turn to our practical part. I'm going to show you two simple applications of how to fetch the user's data from the Facebook database by using the Facebook library in Jupyter Notebook. Before importing Facebook library, we have to install the necessary Python packages, Facebook-SDK, and JSON. The JSON library could help us convert our dictionary into JSON format. Then we're good to go. The following two applications I'm going to show you soon are mainly about how to get data on the users who are actually the customers in our Facebook apps. In the first case, I'm going to show you how to fetch the basic information on our users. In the second one, we are trying to access users-like information and export them in a TXT file. Okay, without further ado, let's get started with our codes. Let's pretend that we have already installed the necessary Python packages here, and then take a quick look at our Python code regarding the first application. In the first case, we just retrieve some basic information on our users. And here, I defined a main method, and I create a token object. If you remember, we need to generate an access token from our Graph API Explorer page. And then we can call the Graph API with this function and index a Facebook object graph. Afterwards, we need to define some fields. It is a list of a user's properties. In this case, I put 5 properties here: name, ID, gender, email, and accounts. Accounts here are the pages that a user creates on his or her own. Afterwards, we need to join all items into a string. And then we could fetch information on the project me, well, especially my profile. And then the fields parameter is nothing else but the list of a user's properties here. So all of the results are in this profile variable, and they're stored in a dictionary. And then we try to convert this dictionary into a JSON format with this function. And now I'm going to show you how to generate a corresponding access token. And here, as you can see, this is my Facebook app, test app. Well, this app contains the business and the customer permissions. And then we click here, get user as a token, continue. And in this case, we want email address, gender, accounts as a user. So we need the user gender, email, pages show list permissions. Let's do that. So for gender, we need the user gender permission. For email, we need the email permission. And for accounts, we need the pages show list permission. And as you can see, these 3 permissions are in green. That means the access token right here did not include all of them. And then we need to generate a new token that will include these 3 permissions. And here, actually, we need to link our the page of the user with our app. And this is the page I created by myself. And I wanted to show you the cover of this page. Well, this is the page I create. Well, this page is actually about selling some smart or AI toys for the kids and teenagers, but it is just a test. So there's empty on this page. And if you want to create your own page, just click here and create page. And then you can do it if you like. And now let's turn back to our Explore page, generate X token, continue. Next, down, like, okay, here we go. And now I want to add other fields, gender, email, and accounts with a person. And here you can see, and this shows up like a JSON. And here we have the 5 keys: ID, name, gender, email, and accounts. And these are the values for the keys. Let's copy this token, go back here, and paste it here. You see? Well, the results are totally the same as shown in our Explorer page, right? Okay, so next, let's into our second application. And in this case, we're going to retrieve some specific information about the user's likes. Again, we need a token. And I defined this method. I call graph API with this function. And our access token is going to be the the token here. And the version parameter, I would say you can just use whichever version you like. And here we have two request functions. The first one is for users likes, and the second one is for the names of the users likes. And this is going to have a dictionary with the name and ID. In order to get the data from the list, remember that list only contains dictionaries, and we've indexed it for the data. But the data key contains another list. So for that list, we have to iterate through each of those dictionaries. And here, all we have to do is to append the name to this new list that I've created here. And then this bloom is just telling me whether or not the list is empty, because if the list is empty, that means they have no likes information. And I should be writing a file because it will be an empty. So there is no need for that. And all I do here after that is to retrieve the date time, create the file name based on the username. Again, we are indexing for the name plus likes on and the date at the time. And here, all we do here is to open and save the results in a TXT file, and that's it. Okay, that's all the codes. And let us generate a new X token, which includes the user likes permission, and generate a new one. Continue. Okay, so let me modify the fields. Likes. Okay, well, as you can see, it shows up like a JSON, and this is all a dictionary, and then you have a dictionary key with the value as a list. And each item in a list is a dictionary for each selected page. It will give you a name, ID, created time, which is date. And again, for the next one, gives me the name, ID, and it just goes on. If you have 1,000 likes, it will do it for each like. And now I copy this token and paste it in here. Okay, and here's the results. They're totally the same as shown in our Explorer page. And let's have a check in our folder. Well, the results in a TXT file are also the same, right? Okay. And so basically API gives you more accessibility and it makes things easier for you. And it's basically a interface, and they make it such that you can hop on and use it. And there is really nothing you have to do to change the data itself. All you have to do is to request it. And that's really what's the benefits of using the Graph API or in general. Well, let's recap what we've done in our practical part. We installed the library, wrote the code, ran the script, and edited the work. I would say it was quite fun at the end of the day. We got to view data, we got to play with it, and then we got to save it. So many things you can do with the Graph API. And I hope you also have fun with our today's presentation. And just take a try, play around with the Graph API. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask on our Piazza, and we are very glad to answer them. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.